money and the fame. Get it out the concrete, that's how we made the name. Bow down, kiss the ring. Wear my flaws like a crown, that's why they call me the king. All about the power and the money and the fame. Get it out the concrete, that's how we made the name. Bow down, kiss the ring. Wear my flaws like a crown, that's why they call me the king. K-I-N-G, yeah, they gon' envy. I'm still street, you get the beats like an MP. Still saying 10T, low to my Benji. Dirt all on my boots, all on my heels like a NC. I was rich, I was always on the...
Hey, man, hey, don't get too hype, man. Don't get too hype. Hey, it's your boy Rasheen, a.k.a. the King of Romance, hanging out with my man, the real Oh, my man, tell him, bro.
What's going on, y'all? Y'all know it's the real justice, man. I don't know about this one, but we gonna see.
Hey, we
gonna see.
We hanging with your man, Demitrice Chance tonight. Hey, author of the G Code, a.k.a. God Code. Oh, my God. Hey, welcome, Mr. Chance. How you doing, man?
Doing good. Appreciate y'all for having me.
No doubt.
The author of G Code, aka God. Consider myself a philosopher. Working right. Wise by nature.
Okay, hey, Mr. Chance, we losing you a little bit.
Y'all losing me?
Yeah. We lost you a little. Yeah, we lost everything you said in the end.
It look good over here.
Yeah, we lost you.
Can y'all hear me now? Y'all hear me good now?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Yeah, see if you can talk. See if we can hear you.
Yeah, my Instagram is Wise by Nature. That's where y'all can find me.
Okay.
WISE_BY_nature.
Okay. Wild by nature. I'm going.
No, wise by nature.
Wise by nature. Okay.
Right. Yeah.
With the G code, I was wondering how you use wild by nature like the G code. So talk to us, man. Hey, the G code. So usually when you hear the G code, of course, you know what I'm saying, you thinking, you know what I'm saying, the street, you know what I'm saying, the code of the street, and you know what I'm saying, just pretty much, you know, like OG kind of, you know, philosophy. So we want to know, you know what I'm saying, you came in with the G code, aka the God code. You know, tell us about God code, man, and what's behind it. Give us a backstory on it.
The backstory is when I moved back to college, I didn't finish college. I think I was riding the train. I had moved back with my mother back after I finished college. I was riding the train.
Hey, Miss Chance, we losing you again, man. It's like, well, I don't think we can hear you. It's like we can see you talking, but we can't hear you.
All right, let me try to go to it.
No problem. Yeah, whatever you gotta do, man. We here. We got a whole hour.
All right. All right, can y'all hear me?
Yep, you good right now.
Yeah, so I moved back from college with my mother, and I was just thinking to myself, like, how I didn't finish college, like, where did I go wrong? And I was riding the train looking for a job, and I was thinking to myself, like, I need a set of codes for my life to live by. No matter what goes on, no matter if I don't make it to where I want to make it in life, I need a set of codes. Okay. Now, I've always been a thinker, and I was wondering how could I get these codes out to the world. And another way it was just kind of me kind of finding my purpose and finding my lane. Cause I never inspired to be a writer. Like I wanted to play football and be like Deion Sanders, you know, be a cornerback. So when I got to that point of writing, G Code, the reason why I titled it G Code was to kind of attract our people, but in a more spiritual sense, to kind of get their attention. So the G code, aka God code, is by having a set of codes in your life from that you live and die by.
Okay.
From your purpose, to your character, like who you are, being true to yourself, the way you treat people, being a man towards a woman towards a man, relationships, your race of people, our race of people, being loyal to each other, to the church inside of you, like being true to your purpose and your what you do on a day-to-day basis, and being the best advertisement and marketing for how you live, be the best advertising and marketing for what you do on a daily basis.
Okay. And so, as we get your backstory, like say, do you feel like the break between you not making it to where you want to make it with football towards the end, like NFL or whatever, like is that what broke you to be able to feel like, is that what made you feel like you didn't have a plan? I guess that's what I'm saying.
No, not that. Actually, just going to college, messing up, getting in trouble, not being focused, and not being, I guess, not being true to myself, not having discipline, not having a set of codes, and that kind of what led me to G code. Cause I didn't have a set of codes, so that's why I ended up living back with my mother, because I didn't have a set of codes for myself that I could live by that would have helped me graduate college.
Okay. So did that put you? So I guess that also leads me back to the question: as have you gone back to college, or do you feel like you can go back and finish, or do you know what I'm saying? Like, what is your goal as far as the G code? Now that you have a G code, is it something that you want to go back and you can actually use to get to where you're trying to be?
No, not actually. I want to use G code in my day-to-day life. Like, I'm an author of spiritual development, self-help books. So every book I write is more towards becoming the best version of yourself.
Okay.
And, I want to take this author thing, being an author, as far as I can take it.
Okay. Okay. So when you say God code, you're not specifically talking about religion. You're more talking about life, is what you're saying.
Right.
Okay. Okay. So as far as your book, what do you feel like? Who are you targeting? Like, who do you feel like is your target audience, and how like who are you looking to help?
When I first wrote it, I didn't know. I wanted young, just black people in general, right? But I would say now, young black men between the ages of probably 18 and 35, and in my heart, I would say anybody with an open mind, because anybody with an open mind will read my book. But I understand that you have to, be specific about your target. So I would say 18 to 35.
Okay. So how's your book? How's it set up? Is it set up in a way of saying, is it like a workbook? Or do you have you set it up to where there's chapters that can actually give you guidance? How do you get it set up as far as putting your message out there?
Yeah, it's set up in just different chapters. That can give you guidance, different philosophies. I made bold like certain biblical scriptures that you can read, flip through and read. Certain philosophies I made bold also. And then I made it easy because I have like subtitles, when I'm talking about in chapter 1, talking about your purpose or whatnot. I speak on going back to when you was a little kid and finding what you did naturally and understanding that that's your true nature. So I kind of drive people. I kind of take people on a road of like just reversing that clock when you find yourself being lost and not knowing who you are, and just figure out like who you were when you was a kid, and then that kind of show you who you are now and kind of lead you and guide you into what your purpose may be.
Okay. So I saw
Now he froze.
Oh yeah.
Let me ask you a question while we waiting for my host to come back. Why'd you name it God Code?
I knew that was gonna throw people off Cause when they see G code, they would expect, you know, it to mean gangster. And I say God code because me personally, in my opinion, everything that come from God is gangster.
Ooh.
So
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Okay. The reason why it sparked my attention because I have a 5% background. So when you said God code, I was like, I wonder is he 5% or does he study? You know what I'm saying? Because not everybody refers to themselves like that or in that matter. You know what I mean? So for you to say God code, I said to myself, I really want to know what this is about. You know what I mean? Like, so that was a hell of an analogy what you just said. Everything that comes from God is gangster. I like that.
Yep.
So what's your background, Demitrice? What was your growing up like?
Starting out growing up, I was living with my mother, and then when I got 10, my daddy he came and got me. And that was a whole another lifestyle because living with my mother, I was kind of, you know, doing what I wanted to do, coming in the house when I wanted to come in the house. Like, you know, I had my grandfather, but I mean, you know, her being the mother, like she couldn't, and she was young herself too, so she
Right.
couldn't really, you know, control me or guide me or anything like that. So when I was around 10 or 11, I moved with my father, and that was like a different transition because he put some structure into my life. So,
Okay.
you know, it was kind of disciplined, like you're not gonna be doing this, you're not gonna be doing that, and things of that nature. So it was different because living with my mother, it was just straight hood, you know what I'm saying? Just stuff young mothers do. That's what it was. You
Okay.
know, move with him, it was kind of like, you know, you're gonna be something. Like you're not finna be running around here doing what you want to do. You
Okay.
know, so you know, growing up, I always thought to myself like, why out of all my friends in the hood, like God saved me, because a lot of them ended up growing up with their grandparents or it was things like that because it was just grandparents raising their daughter or son kids because people were locked up, dead, or whatever, you know. And then even when I was 11, and I was still playing football, and my auntie was driving down the street, and a car hit her from behind. And then, like a couple weeks later, after everybody got to the hospital, I told my father, I was like, Aunt Sandra had a wreck because she needed a new car. And that's when I thought back on it as I got older. That's where I naturally had wisdom or insight to see certain things like that. But I didn't know what I was saying when I said that. Like I didn't know that was the reason why God allowed her to have a wreck because she needed a new car. You know, but that was something that was always in me. I had to tap back into that, and that let me know that this is who I am today. So, you know, I was kind of, I guess, lost because it was two different worlds I was growing up in, and you know, this had always been me, but I didn't want it to be me. Like I really wanted to play football, go to college, get a degree, get a job, blase blase. But when all those things didn't work out, I had to like turn back to God and say like, what did you put me here for? You know, because now
Okay.
I'm on my own. You know.
Okay. My co-host is back.
Hey, can y'all hear me, man? My bad. I'm having
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, we hear
yeah.
you.
I got Ricky, man. My bad. All right. So I apologize, Mr. Chance. I'm not sure what's going on with my internet, but we'll make it happen. So Justice, I wasn't sure where you left off at, but I think the last question I was asking, did you finish asking what I was asking? I can't.
Yeah, we kind of touched on that. Yep.
Okay. I don't want to keep asking the same question. So, Mr. Chance, so what else are you working on as far as I think I was reading your bio. Oh, that's what I was saying. So before I go any further, my son came to live with me at about age 12, 11 or 12. And so, you know, and there was a break. There was a breakdown between him living with his mom and him living with me. So do you feel like by not having a code Do you feel like there was a breakdown at some point between living with your mom and being raised by your dad? I mean, like, give me the backstory on how you feel about, you know, the changeover. Was it a different life, or how that work for you?
Yeah, like it wasn't no code. You know, I live with my mother. I basically did what I want to do. You know, like, cause she was a young mother too. So, you know, I basically did what I want to do. Then transitioned to live with my father. He kind of had a. This is what he told me when he took me and my brother in. He said, "I saved y'all life and y'all saved my life." So he was like, it was kind of like a two birds and one stone type of situation. You know,
Okay.
to where he had an epiphany, where he seen his friend get killed, to where he was like, you know what, I need to get in my son's life. And so he took it. You know, he took it there. And so when we got in his life, he actually became like the did his best to be the best father he could be, and to
Okay.
raise us based on what he, you know, put us in a different environment, show us different things, you know, lead us and guide us in the right direction. So yeah,
Okay.
it wasn't no more doing what you want to do, you know, living with him.
So you feel like that's something? I mean, because that's definitely something I feel like our young men need. You know, and that's why, like I said, that's why I took, you know, I took my son, and you know, I was military before, so me being military, I was out of his life for a while. I wasn't even out of his life. I was always in his life, but I wasn't always there physically. You know, being that I was military, and so with that being said, I do feel like, you know, I was grounded once I was able to. Once I got him, you know, custody of him, it grounded me. You know, so I'm not sure, and I apologize about my video right now. I'm on my phone, so I'm trying to get my other computer set up. But so like and so being military, like I said, my with a military background, I was able to give him that structure. You know, do you feel like, and I'm not, like I said, I'm not sure the background of your father, but do you feel like whatever he went through helped you become who you are now?
Yeah, because he was also military.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, because he grew up without his father. He actually
Okay.
didn't have a father, so he was just, you know, he was just jumping out there doing the best he can do, raising his two sons.
Yeah. So definitely, you know, and just as I talk about this all the time, man. You know, our kids, you know, our younger generation, they need both parents.
Right.
You know, and because like these mothers are trying to raise sons, and once these sons get to a certain age, they start smelling themselves. You know, and I say it all the time. You know, there's only one alpha male in the house. You get what I'm saying? And once they start smelling themselves, that's when they start getting in trouble.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
and so with that being said, you know, it's one of them things to where you have to be able to guide them in a direction that they set them up for success. So something like the G code is definitely something that, you know, it's a tool or a great resource to be able to get us to that point. You know, because a lot of people don't know. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people don't know how to raise teenagers. Teenagers, you know, I tell people all the time, and I think I told Justin this multiple times. You probably heard it 100 times, but I've been to Iraq, been to Afghanistan, I've been to Kuwait. Hardest thing I ever did was raise a teenager. You know what I'm saying? I went to boot camp. You know, I'd have been shot at, all kind of things. You know what I'm saying? But the hardest thing I've ever done was to raise a teenager. You know, because, and not because of the just the drama, because you know most people have their drama anyway. But the hardest thing I've ever, I mean, it's hard because you want them to be successful in life. You know,
Right.
you don't want to look 15, 20 years down the road and realize that, yeah, you wasn't successful. You know, so I commend you, man. I commend you on writing this book. So something we like to do, man, without telling us the book or without giving the book away, because we want people to go buy the book. Give us some insight on, let's just say a chapter in your book that you felt like was a hard hitter, was a heavy hitter, something you think was a need to know.
Um, the probably chapter one, the when I was talking about, you know, people finding their purpose, I kind of referred it back to, I kind of used the analogy of picking a lock. and I was like, unlock the code. Like, you are the code. Unlock yourself, basically. And I kind of referred it to when you picking a lot, you're kind of turning it left, you're turning it right, and you're really just unlocking what's already inside of you.
Okay.
And then I took it farther to where, you can unlock, when you unlock that code inside of you, picking that lock, you seeing everything. Like, you seeing everything you done wrong, everything you done right, your true self. So then I took it farther to where, for instance, if you driving down one side of the road or the highway, you doing a whole lot of things. You just you driving. But if you realize I'm going down the wrong road, you make a U-turn, and then making that U-turn, you will have to go through everything you created when you was going down the wrong road. And I speak on that. And it's like, it's a darkness that you have to go through to find a light within yourself, because you have to see everything you done, and it'll all make sense in the end. But yeah, that the purpose of unlocking yourself is the chapter I like a lot.
And so, the purpose of unlocking yourself, does that? I guess it's something I'm interested in. Is it hard to interlock yours? Do you feel? And I'm gonna ask you this, and I ask Jesse the same thing, because I know me, and I know that I don't stop until whatever I'm trying to make happen happens. So, do you feel like it's hard for some people to unlock their inner self or who they really are? Or do you? Well, and it's a two-part question. So, do you feel like it's hard for people to unlock who they really are? But also, do you feel like a lot of people even know who they really are?
I believe it can be hard for some, and for others, it can be hard for some to unlock themselves. Because for me, speaking for people, I would assume everyone is to a point to where you would be able to rewind the time and know who you were when you was a kid. Like, if I would tell people to look at what you naturally done when you was a kid without anyone like leading you or guiding you or telling you, hey, don't do this, do this, don't do that. And then I think when some people do go there to answer it more, they are scared, because just like when I said traveling down the wrong road, and then you realize you've been going the wrong direction, you got to go through that. When you make that U-turn, you got to go back through that hell you created when you was going down the wrong road. And I think that's the main thing that people don't want to do, is go through the wrong road, because you got to go through it to get through it. And I think a lot of people do know what they got to do. They're just that fear of facing themselves is that what they don't want to go through. It's a real humbling process.
Okay, I can agree with that. I can agree that people have a fear. I think a lot of people's biggest fear is themselves, and I'm in agreement to. I feel like a lot of people feel like if they fail, they're gonna fall deeper into why they didn't want to do it in the first place.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Justice, what you think, man?
I feel like,
go ahead, my bad.
We are all layers. You know what I'm saying? Like an onion, like anything that has layers. And when you start to work on yourself, that self-care, you begin to find out things about yourself. So it's like a tumbler. Anybody know anything about locks? You can have the key. You can have the key and stick it in that lock, or you can know the code. But if them tumblers don't roll like they're supposed to roll, it's not going to unlock. And I believe everything is you have a time for everything. You know what I'm saying? There's a time for everything. You don't just wake up enlightened. You have to chase it. You have to, first of all, you have to know that you want to change. You have to know that you want something different. So I agree. I agree. I agree wholeheartedly. You know what I mean? But change, listen, they say when you get tired of being tired and accepting things for what they are, then you'll change. But you'll only change if you know that it's something else on the other side. You got people who don't know. They think that's all it is. All it is what it is. And they ain't supposed to change. You know what I mean? When the pain of being the same, they said when the pain of staying the same goes above the want to change, then you'll change. I probably messed that up, but I know what I mean. When you get tired of being the same, then you'll change. Until then, you'll be comfortable with your melancholy life.
All right, and that's another point to as me as an author writing these books. Like I was exposing myself with every book I write because I'm so, my books are nonfiction, so I put my real life event situations, real life perspective, my real life heart, and I pour myself into my books. So then that put even a bigger responsibility for me to live my books, because I believe I am a reflection of my books that I write. So yeah, it's like me even finding my purpose was going down the dark tunnel to exposing myself on who I really was. And the more I write and the more I expose myself, the more responsibility I have to live that truth.
G Code's not your first book?
No, it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. But yeah,
you got a part 2, or you working on a part 2, or
no,
what you
I have a book coming out in May titled "It Costs to Be Free," and that's another spiritual self-help book about going through the fire and defeating all your demons to become free within yourself. And on the back of the book, one of the quotes I got is the wages of sin is death, and the wages of freedom is life. Becoming free paves the way for not only yourself, but for those who come after you. So, yep.
Cost to be free.
Cost to be free for sure. Yep.
Wow. I mean, me myself, I'm doing a lot of studying. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm into my chakras. I'm into my crystals. I'm into my enlightenment, my elevation, because I know that we were placed on this plane of existence with more knowledge than we choose to use. You know what I'm saying? They say the brain, out of 100% of the brain, I think they say we use 7%.
Right, yeah, I heard that. Yeah.
That is a hell of a ratio, untapped, unused. You know what I mean? So when you make a book like God Code, I thought it was God consciousness. Like when you said G Code, I was like, okay, this got to be something deep. I mean, that's a hell of a title. It is, because there's so many mystifying definitions of what God is. You know what I mean? It says in the Bible, God, where it says, "Have I not said ye are gods?" So you could run with it that way. And we also know God is Egyptian for Gumar Ashtabar, which means wisdom, beauty, and strength, which every black man should possess. So when you named it the God Code, I went at it a couple different ways. You know what I mean? But my question to you is like, so is self-help your lane? Is that it? That's your main lane? And if so, why?
Yeah, self-help. Yes, that's my main lane, because my whole life I've been looking for peace. And, I feel like God has been on me my whole life. So ever since I was a kid, every time I done something wrong or I done something fake or out of my character, my consciousness told me about myself. And I didn't want to hear it. and it's been like that my whole life. So I feel like I always feel like God was like bullying me, like I want you to be better, or always putting me in situations, or I always knew what to do, but a lot of times I didn't have the strength, or I just felt like He wanted me to be a grown man at 18 and certain things like that. So I look at it like this: like my flesh and my body is way lower than my spirit. They are nowhere near each other. They don't know each other. Like my flesh is a demon, and then my spirit is angelic, you know, and I want to please my higher consciousness. So I want to become the best version of me. I'm not settling to just say, oh, this is how I feel, so this is what I'm going to do. No, I want to elevate to become the best version of me. So yes, all my books will be self-help, because that's what I'm going through every day since my whole childhood. I feel like that's why God put me in this lane, is because it's like I'm knowing what to do to become the best version of myself, but it's hurting every step of the way. It's hurting, and I keep going. And the more I keep going, the more I'm gonna continue to write these books and learn more.
Without giving out the book, because we want people to go get the book. Let me ask you this: do you have certain techniques, certain practices that you teach people how to unlock, like meditation, vibration, trying to tune in on your frequencies, anything like that?
It's more. My books are more like a blueprint, to where I tell you what to do. Well, I don't tell you what to do. I tell you so much so far, and then you fill in the blank. You know, it's like it's more of what is it to you, because I'm gonna speak my perspective and my experience in the book, but you have to fill in the blank on what it really is for you. Like for example, in one of my chapters, when I was speaking on your personality trait and personalities, and I was speaking on just how, you know, animals be themselves. When you look at all the animals God created, they all be themselves. They don't change. They don't try to be nothing else. But us as humans, we have the option to be something that we're not. So I'm telling people to, whatever your true nature is, be that and be comfortable in that, because that's how you are going to prosper. You know, live based off the inside of your own instincts. And so that's kind of how I kind of guide people. I kind of just give them certain examples of how to fill in the blanks in their life. You know, if you're shy, or you're strong in this area, or you like to talk, you quiet, be true to that and learn how to balance it out. Don't allow the world to dictate your character and how you move.
Okay. So first of all, let me apologize, man, because I'm not sure what's going on my system, but I'm back. We like to call it being Ricky. So my internet went Ricky on me or whatever, but I'm back. So I'll listen to you talk. So let me ask you this, because there are a lot of people who don't know their journey, right? A lot of people come from literally a situation where the person that they came from, a person that they were mentored by, or, you know what I'm saying, grew up with, didn't have a journey. So how do you attack a situation to where no one in your lifeline knows the journey, knows the struggle, knows the code? How do you overcome that?
How would I teach them the code?
Yeah, how would you teach them the code? Well, let's start by this. Let's start by by them not knowing that there's even a code out there. You know what I'm saying? So in certain situations you're born into, let's just say you're born into, poverty. All right. And that's all you ever knew. You know what I'm saying? And people before you, that's all they ever knew. And your whole lifeline, that's all that was ever known. And your mentality is that that's all I'll ever know and all my kids will ever know. How do you teach them that there's more?
Mm,
That's a great question.
right. I'm more leading towards peace, whatever brings you peace. And with me writing self-help and my book being self-help, are you asking for in my book or just me in general?
Just as a teacher.
It's just a teacher in general.
Yeah,
Okay.
just as a teacher. Yeah.
Okay.
How would you guide them? Like how would you guide them to, be able to become successful or be able to teach their children how to be, have a better life? Because what I'm asking is because so many of us are caught in a cycle. And a lot of times when you're in a cycle, if you don't have that hustle, if you don't have that spirit to go get to change your cycle's always going to be the same. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
And if no one ever throws a wrench in your cycle to be like, hey, this ain't how your cycle got to be. This is not how it has to be. You know what I'm saying? How do you approach that? Like, how do you approach people that only see one vision? You know what I'm saying? Like, so, and to elaborate on that even more, I grew up in Montclair, in Pensacola, Florida. And going back now, you see that there's a need for mentorship, role models. You know what I'm saying? It's like somebody needs to teach them how to, be more than what they see around them. You know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
we've all seen dope boys, dope money. You know what I'm saying? We've all seen, our females, our young women have seen strippers. They didn't see prostitutes. You know what I'm saying? How do we break that cycle in a sense of that's all they see? That's all you see around you. How do you know to go get something else?
Right. I wouldn't even say seek nothing else. I would say seek being yourself. Spend some alone time with yourself. If I had a young dude that I was mentoring, I would tell him spend some time with himself and ask yourself, what do you like to do? Like not what your environment is doing. What do you like to do? Who are you? Like what hurts your feelings? Like what are you hiding? And most of all, like what brings you peace? And because some people won't see it, some people won't see it, but to try to, I guess, get people to see it is just telling them spend some alone time for the ones who do want to grow. Like what brings you peace? Like I'm gonna just use me for example to try to answer the question. Seeing everything I seen, it didn't work for me. When I tried to do bad stuff or it didn't work, I got in trouble, I got caught. So it wasn't prospering in my life. So you have to find out what's your life about, what's prospering in your life, and change the inside, change your perspective, change how you look at things. Because it had to start off internal before it can be anything else, monetary or anything. It had to start off internal. And with me, I had to check myself and understand who I was before just being at peace with myself and my decision making. Is this what you really want to do on a day-to-day basis, or do you really want to go in that direction? Is that really who you? Are you really like those dudes on the block? And be true with yourself. you know, or you really built like that, and be true to yourself, you know, because it's cool to be who you really are. You know, it's really cool to be who you really are. So you got to question yourself and really be true with yourself and ask yourself, do you really want the pain that come with the life you're living? Are you cool with it? Because if someone is cool with the life they're living, I don't believe you can really show them any different. You can just lead by example to the best of your abilities. You can lead by example, you know. But for anyone, I got a little brother that I lead and guide now, or to my best of my abilities, and he wanna be better. So I kind of tell him what come with everything he wanna do, being true to himself, just real life, you know, and you got to take yourself outside the world that you're in. I don't know if I answered that correctly.
Yeah, and I totally agree. I also feel like to take it a step further, um, you know, I truly believe in mentorship. I believe in each one teach one because I've met multiple people, and not only young adults but older people that are lost. And a lot of times when you're lost, you don't know which way is up, which way is down, and a lot of times people are scared to sit with themselves. You know, a lot of times the scariest person in the world is yourself. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times you can sit there and, you know, the person that you struggle with the most is yourself. You know what I'm saying? So when you're not able to see more for yourself, or when you're not able to, you know, you can say all day, oh, you can be anything you want to be in the world. That's easy to say. You know what I'm saying? But if I go tell Justice he can build a house, he can build any house he want to build. You get what I'm saying? So, you know, I commend you on your journey as a teacher to be able to teach people how to find their bricks. So that's basically how I look at it. In order for to build a house, you got to teach people how to build a foundation.
Right.
You got to give people the blueprint to the house. And I think, you know, what you're saying with the G code is you're basically giving them a blueprint on how to find themselves. You know, and like I said, a lot of times if you're not a carpenter, you don't know how to build a house. But this day and age, there's YouTube. I guarantee you I could build a house right now. You know what I'm saying? I'll watch YouTube and build the best house you ever. It's gonna take some work, it's gonna take some resources, but what we gotta have and what we gotta instill in our people to be able to be successful is we have to instill in them the confidence to be able to go forward and be successful. Because a lot of times we don't have the confidence to be successful. You know, I realize something I see a lot is that soon as we reach an obstacle, we're done. You know, I coach a 14-year-old football team, and as soon as a lot of them kids see an obstacle, or as soon as they hit a hurdle that they can't comprehend or they can't get by, they shut down. And that's how a lot of society is. It's like a lot of people in our culture get to the point where we're like, okay, you can be anything you want to be. But when they get to, say, for instance, filling out a college application, that's the obstacle. You know what I'm saying? When it's time to find out how to fill out the financial aid paperwork, that's an obstacle. And I guarantee you we've lost a lot of people that wanted to get an education or get trade or wanted to do anything in life because of an obstacle. And we have to teach people to be able to get past these obstacles, because getting past the obstacle is huge.
All right. And one thing just for them listening, we don't have nothing to lose. And that's what kind of keep me going. I don't have nothing to lose. You know, if I sell one book or 1,000,000 books, I don't have nothing to lose. So why not follow your heart? Why not fight the fight? You know, why not keep going? What's wrong with keep going? You know, so like if in my day-to-day life, you know, I present myself in a way of, you know, when people see me, you know, when youngins see me, they see me, you know, they would assume that I'm out here doing what a lot of other people are doing, you know. But then when they talk to me, they understand that I'm not having sex with multiple women, you know, even though I'm a young dude or whatnot. You know, I'm not out here doing drugs like that. But when they see me, that's what they would think. So even when I try to present myself in a way to where, okay, put the medicine in the candy. You know, I will allow you to think that about me, but then when you approach me and talk to me as a youngin, you will see that he not even on that. He being himself. So then I would hope it would trigger something inside them to be themselves. You see, because you'll see me in the hood or somewhere, you know, in my granny house, or you'll see me, I'm dressing up, I'm urban, I probably got, you know, tennis shoes that a lot of young dudes wearing on or something. You know, so you would assume I'm out here just doing that, going to the club every weekend, drinking like this, drinking like that. But then like, nah, I'm not doing none of that. I look like this, but I'm not doing none of that. And I would hope that would lead them into a way of understanding that being you is cool. Being the best version of yourself is cool. Who you are on the inside, is cool. You see what I'm saying? Who you really are on the inside is being cool. And that's what I would hope for youngers to get from me. You know, to lead them to be true to themselves and being true to yourself, build those certain codes and things like that. You know, certain guide codes and morals and integrity, you know, that you can stand on and live by.
Okay. So in your book, give us some of the other codes that you got in there. Like give us some a little insight on a couple of codes that you feel that the younger generation or whoever you're trying to reach can live by.
Another code, like chapter 9 of my book, is speaking on the church within inside of you. And that code is basically telling people to, you know, walk it how you talk it. You know, whatever you are, if you are a barber, you know, you should keep yourself well groomed. A beautician, you should keep your hair done. Fitness trainer, you should stay in the gym. You should just look the part. You know, you should be like whatever you're doing for a living, you should look the part and try to beat to that to the best of the ability. So where you are I feel like we as people are the greatest marketing tool we can have for ourselves. So for me, for the church inside of you, me knowing I live by wisdom and philosophy and things of that nature and self-development, I present myself in a way to where people can feel what's in my book on me. You can feel the guide code on me if you see how I live on a day-to-day basis. What comes out of my mouth, not speaking out of turn and things like that, things of that nature, to where people should feel your purpose on you. What you do for a living, they should feel that on you. They should see that in you when they're around you.
Okay. Okay. So with that being said, it's like, do you feel like there are more codes, like besides? I guess what I'm saying is, from what you wrote in your book, I'm not sure how many chapters it is, but do you feel like there are still codes out there that haven't made it? Do you feel like this is a continuing battle? Like what is your mindset as far as, you know? I know you are, man. I guess I'm saying is, do you feel like the codes in your book are it? Do you think that these codes are the codes that's gonna get you where you need to be?
Nah, it's just a starting point because you know that was my first book. So like I was a baby in the author game, so I was just, you know, I was writing, you know, and I was just writing from a basis of certain standpoints that I know people gonna think about when they talk about relationships, your purpose, dealing with money, finances, having a code for finances, having a code to how you treat people and things like that. So now I definitely believe there are more codes, you know, and hopefully, you know, God lead me into more that I can write more, because even when I go back and read my book, I'll be like, there's some things I could have said differently, or some more things I could have put in there, you know. But I believe what I did put in there, so what I did put in my book will help people, you know.
Okay. So, first of all, let me ask you, how old are you?
29.
Okay, so you still pretty young. So, as a 29-year-old man, Do you feel like the G code is helping you in your journey? Like, do you feel like it's something like I know you wrote the book, but do you feel like the book is helping you on your journey? And if so, where are you? What's your destination? Where are you trying to go?
I'm trying to stand on top of my books, and what I mean by that is, I want to be the best version of everything I wrote. And my books put me on blast. So even with writing G code, um, I'm not perfect, so I didn't live up to my own book in certain instances. But I think about something in my book or reread my book and be like, yeah, you need to work on that because you wrote it. It's your book. So my book hold me up to a higher regard, and I'm getting there. I'm getting there for the most part. It was just things here and there that I wrote the book back in 2016. So for the most part, I'm living everything in G code. But when I first wrote it, I wasn't. I wrote the book and then I started veering off. But I'm a very self-conscious person, and I carry weight of. I look in the mirror every day, to where I can look at myself and be like, did you live G code? Did you live God code? Did you wrote? And I can be honest with myself and sometimes say no or sometimes say yes back then. But now to the point to where yeah, I'm living it for the most part. I'm living it.
Okay. So something. It's an important question because I think it's something that we as black men forget, and so I want to know how you feel about it. I also want to know how Justice feel about it. So I noticed that a lot of times in black men, we, we fail at something and call it a failure and forget that it should be a lesson. You know what I'm saying? And so a lot of times when we hold ourselves to, like, say, for like he was talking about, a high regard, and we don't stay there, or we don't maintain that, we feel like it's a failure. How do you feel about it? Because I'll tell you real quick how I feel. I feel like every mistake we make, every milestone that we don't reach is a lesson. You know what I'm saying? And I talk about it all the time. I do a little segment called Bounce Back, and I feel like, the whole concept of a bounce is the harder you hit, the higher you're gonna bounce. You know what I'm saying? So if you hit rock bottom, you hit hard, bounce back as high as you can bounce. You know what I'm saying? So how do you feel about, say for instance, not particularly meeting a milestone of the G code, and do you feel like it's something that you should be able to bounce back from? I mean, give me an idea of what the lesson learned on failures on the G code.
For me, I've been working on myself with that because I realized, like, growing up, or I try to be a perfectionist, and I look at myself. I probably am the biggest critic of myself, and but now as I was praying about it and not to beat myself up when I make mistakes, it's easier for me to slip up and then shake back real quick than what it used to be, because I was so hard on myself to live up. You see what I'm saying? Because I feel like if I put these things inside my book and I'm not living by it, then I'm lying to people.
True.
But as I got older and I started to just be more realistic and also pray about it, like I was saying, it's like now I can deal with making a mistake and bouncing back up and just going on by my day, because life don't stop. So
True.
there's no need for me to be in a downward state or depressed state because I didn't live up to something, So, yeah, I'm better than I don't beat myself up no more about messing up or nothing like that. I do my best not to make a mistake to a decision. Because after so long, I do feel in my heart mistakes become decisions if you keep doing them.
True. Just what you think, man?
I mean, he pretty much summed it up, bro. He definitely summed it up. I think we always sit back and we don't make sometimes we have lofty goals and aspirations for ourselves, and when we don't reach these goals and aspirations, we get frustrated and we give up. You know what I mean? So it's pretty much like what he said.
So my bad. I was trying to get one of these things up.
Nah,
So
you good, bro.
so man, listen. Like I said, keep on your journey, man. Like I said, you're a young man, and as an older man, as an older man, I feel like we need warriors out there like that to continue to build and create these maps, these roadmaps for life to get our youth in the right place. And not only I always say youth, but there's a lot of adults that need direction as well. You know what I'm saying? Roadmaps are made for everybody, and I think we need to continue to be able to, create these roadmaps and these GPS to get us in the right location. Because a lot of times we lose our way, and I mean a lot of people lose. I mean a lot of people lose their way, and as much as I want to help, I want to be able to help the world. We need people like you, man, to continue to get on platforms like this and help out. Continue to write the G code, man. Continue to make sure these platforms hear your code, man, because they definitely need to know, what you got to offer and what you bring to the table to help our people out, man. So listen, hey, we coming up on an hour, man. It goes so fast. I don't know why it goes so fast, man. But before we go, man, like I got one more question for you, and we're gonna run it out. So, for our young men, and I would say let's just say ages 14 to 25. You know, if they lose their way, let's just say they lose their way, whether it's to the streets, whether it's to drugs, whether it's to whatever society, they feel like society don't need them. What do you say to these young men to keep them on the right path?
I would say ask the universe, speaking into existence, ask yourself, who are you? Because a lot of young men, even me growing up, we have an identity problem to where we don't know who we are. We don't know who to follow, what's good to follow, or what is good to follow may not look cool to us, because of social media, music, things like that. So what's right to follow, we might not like that. They might not get our attention. What's bad to follow may get our attention. So to young men, ask yourself, who are you at heart? Not who your partner is, your OG or whatever. Ask yourself who you are at heart. What do you love to do?
Okay.
Be truthful with your nature. Are you built like you say you are? Are you doing what you love? Like I heard you say, you coach football. I remember in high school when I was like 17, I had stopped playing football at the time. When I came to the realization, I wasn't going to the NFL. So that was me being true with myself. I came to that realization, I'm not going. So I was in the cafeteria with my partners, and they were still playing football. And one of my partners said something, and I told him, I said, if you don't plan on going to the NFL, stop. And what I meant by that is, don't stop just because you're not going to the NFL. Is I said, if you don't want to do that and put your all into it and die on that football field, stop playing now and figure out what it is you love and figure out what it is you would die for. And I think a lot of young men come to the realization about that they're not doing a lot of things. They're not doing what they love, and they'll actually be like, okay, yo, what I'm doing, I don't love that. I just like it for now. It just feel good. Like, now, figure out what you love to do. Figure out what you will die for. And then follow that path. You see what I'm saying? Because if you ain't going to die for it, you will quit.
True. Well, look, man, hey, I really appreciate the time, man. Black Men's Inc. This is what we're here for, man. Put this platform up there for you guys to come in here and tell the world, man, what they need to hear. You know what I'm saying? Let us know when your new book come out, man, so we can hit you up. Definitely, this is something, man, we need to get out to our people, man. Continue to push a positive message. You know what I'm saying? So listen, do me a favor before we roll out, because we're coming up in an hour. Tell the people they can find your book again. And tell them where they can find you, where we can reach you, where we can catch you out on social media.
All right, you can find my book, G Code, aka Guide Code, on Amazon. You can reach me on Instagram, at Wise by Nature, WISE_BY_nature. And I really thank y'all for allowing me to be on y'all show.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt, man. That's what we here for, man. The platform is here to uplift our young black authors, man, coming up, man. And like I said, young man, y'all keep doing what y'all doing, man. Hey, give it up for him, just give it up for him. So anyway, man, look, we're gonna head up out of here, man. I appreciate everything. Hey, y'all thank Demitrice Chance for being here with the G Code. Go get his book, check it out, because we definitely gonna check it out. So until next week, man. Hey, this been your boy Rajeen, aka the King of Romance. I've been chilling with my boy.
It's your man, Real Justice, man. We'll see y'all next week.
Man, hey, we're chilling with Demitrice Chance. Hey, we up out of here. Demitrice, appreciate you coming, bro.
I appreciate y'all.
It's all about the power and the money and the fame. Get it out the concrete, that's how we made the name. Bow down, kiss the ring. Wear my flaws like a crown, that's why they call me the king. All about the power and the money and the fame. Get it out the concrete, that's how we made the name. Bow down, kiss the ring. Wear my flaws like a crown, that's why they call me the king. K-I-N-G, yeah, they gon' envy. I'm still street, you get the beats like